Hello everyone. Welcome to Study Online. Today happens to be the day 3 of Python full stack. If my voice is audible, please do respond in the chat box. Guys, if my voice is audible, please do respond in the chat box. Okay. I just want the response from your side. Okay, great. And what about the background noise? Is there any background noise? Why? Because in Mysore it's heavily raining. That's the reason. Is there any background noise? Okay, there is no disturbance for you, right? That means you can able to hear my voice without any background disturbance, and you can concentrate in the class. If it is yes, I'll continue. That's the reason. Okay, great. What I have discussed in the previous session, could you please tell me what I have discussed in the previous session? That means if I just open the day 2, yeah, hope that I have discussed a history of machine level language, assembly level language, as well as a high level language. Next, I have just told what is the meaning of an assembler, what is the meaning of a compiler, and one small chota table is what I have given. Next, I have just told you the conversion of high level language into machine level language. That means whenever you want to convert a high level language into machine level language, there are two system softwares that are available in the market. One happens to be compiler, one happens to be interpreter, correct, right? And what is the definition between them, and how does the processing will happen? When it comes to compiler, in a single shot, it will just compile. When it comes to interpreter, line by line execution will happen. Is that clear? Okay. And one more. Okay, just now I have observed the chat box. Sorry, your voice is too loud. That's what they're telling. My dear, I think in your mobile or in your laptop, you have the option to reduce the volume. Correct, right? Yeah, fine. If my voice is too loud for you people, you can just reduce the volume, right? It's a minimum common sense. Okay, great. Okay. In the interview, if they're asking, is Python a compiled or interpreted programming language? What would be your answer? Assume that in the interview, if they're asking, is Python a compiled or interpreted language? What will be your answer? Okay, very good. Python is both compiled as well as interpreted programming language. Is that clear? That means it's a hybrid programming language. Very good. Now tell me, when compared to Python and C, which one is faster in execution? Which one is faster in execution? Okay, very good. C. What is the reason? Also, I have told in the previous class, there is a day 2 session. And when it comes to evolution of high-level programming language, also I have told. That means it's a high-level language, but initially they started to write off the code in unstructured manner. Okay, in general, forget about the diagram, forget about the topic, whatever I have explained. If someone is asking what is a disadvantage associated with structured programming language, what will be your answer? We'll see how many of them will tell answer. What is the problem associated with a structured programming language? At that point of time, I'm speaking. I'm not speaking right now. Right now, all those things has been taken care. But I'm just speaking in the olden days. Very good. Security issue. Security was not there. That's the reason. Okay. What is the disadvantage associated with unstructured programming language? That also I should tell. What is the disadvantage associated with unstructured programming language? Very good. Don't you think? Code reusability will not be there. Second one, what is second one? Complex. Why? Because a lengthy code is what you're supposed to write, right? That's the reason it's a very complex process. Will you agree with my point? Okay, great. Now observe properly. Let me just do one thing. Let me just close this tab and let me just open day 3. Okay. I have introduced a new technical term and I have just told about that. We'll see how many of them will recollect and tell me the answer. What is today's topic? Why? Because already I have told in the previous session. That's the reason I'm asking. What is today's topic? The important topic. What is that? Very good. Platform dependent and platform independent. Is that clear? Please do respond. Is that clear? The next heading happens to be platform dependent and platform independent. If you people get the complete clarity about what is the meaning of platform dependent, what is the example for that, what is the problem associated with platform dependent, what kind of languages are platform dependent, and why there is a necessity of inventing platform independent, and what kind of languages will come under platform independent, all those things you people should be clear after a couple of minutes. Is that clear? Let me just do one thing. Let me just write the heading. The heading happens to be platform dependent. All right, I'll just tell the diagram number one. Guys, from maybe after a couple of days, what I'll do, I'll be using OneNote, fine, where you can, where I'll be writing the diagram there itself, and I'll be providing the PDF so that you people need not to take the screenshot and all. Is that clear? Like this heading will be there, diagram here only will be there, notes below that will be there, so that you need not to take the screenshot and all. Directly, if you see the notes in a PDF format, you should be able to write down the proper notes. Like that I'll do, don't worry. Okay, great. Let me just do one thing. Let me just clear this diagram. Now only I'm telling, please don't get distracted for another 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not asking more than that. Please don't get distracted. And your responses is very important for me at this point of time. Please tell me, assume that you are a developer. Assume that you are a developer. Assume that you are a developer. Maybe in whatever it may be the era, fine. Assume that you are a developer. You have written the code in which language? If you ask me, I can just tell you have written the code in C++. Initially, I'll just tell this happens to be the code. It's a C++ code. Now tell me, C++ code, whatever the code that you'll be writing, what kind of language it is? Whether it is a machine level language, or whether it is a assembly level language, or it is high level language. I want the answer from your side. What kind of language it is? Don't you think it's high level language? It's a high level language. It's a high level language, or technically some of them might be calling it as a source code. Whatever you have written within the program, right? Technically it is called as what? Source code. I can just tell this happens to be the source code. Source code. Okay, great. Please observe properly. Don't get distracted. Now I'm telling. Okay, this happens to be the source code. Okay, sir. Next what? Now tell me, who is responsible to convert the given high level language code into machine level language code? Who is responsible to convert the given high level language code into machine level language code? Okay, please be very quick in telling the answer. What is the software name? I'm just expecting the software name from your side. Oh, very good. Don't you think the software name happens to be compiler? The software name happens to be compiler. I can just tell this happens to be C++ compiler. I will tell C++ compiler. Why? Because the duty of C++ compiler is to take the high level language code in a single shot. That is very important, guys. In a single shot, all this piece of code would be taken by whom? If you ask me, this particular C++ compiler will take, and in a single shot, it will produce this machine level language. I can just tell this happens to be the machine level language code. This is MLL, I will tell. Machine level language code. Next. Technically, a machine level language code, or some of them might be calling it as a binary code. Some of them might be calling it as binary code. That also I will write. You can just call it as a binary code. Observe properly. Next. If you want to get the output from the microprocessor, don't you think this particular machine level language code should be loaded on a RAM? Assume that this happens to be the RAM, I can tell. Within the RAM, what should be there, sir? This particular piece of code should be there. See here, a particular piece of machine level language code should be there. Now tell me, who is responsible? Who is responsible to place the particular machine level language code on the RAM? Assume that this happens to be the RAM. Fine. Who is responsible to place that machine level language code onto the RAM? Very good. There is a software that will come into picture. The name of the software happens to be loader. I will tell loader. Okay. The duty of loader software is to take the machine level language code as the input and it will load onto the RAM. If it is available in the RAM, it is very simple, right? Why? Because RAM and microprocessor are interconnected. I can just tell the RAM and the microprocessor. I can just tell this happens to be microprocessor, which will understand only zeros and ones are interconnected. And if you provide this particular machine level language code to this particular microprocessor, 100% you will be getting the output on the console. That is what you have learned in the previous session. Okay, sir, all these things are fine, but why you are telling again and again, sir? Don't worry, I will tell. If someone is asking, what do you mean by platform? If someone is asking, what do you mean by platform? What will be your answer? Assume that I'm asking the question, guys. I'm asking the question. So here, assume that I'll be asking, what is platform? What is platform? What will be your answer? Don't you think you can provide n number of answers for that? But in general, platform means the combination of software plus hardware. How many of them will agree with my point? Platform means a combination of software plus hardware. Will you agree with my point? Guys, in simple words, I'm not complicating the things. In simple words, platform means, that means in the IT industry, it's a combination of software and hardware. Now tell me, what is the hardware component that is used in order to get the output? I will see how many of them will tell the proper answer. What is the hardware component that is being used? Please be very quick in telling the answer. What is the hardware component? No. The very important hardware component which will convert the machine level language code into output. What is that? I'm speaking about that hardware component. Microprocessor. Similarly, assume that this is one complete computer. I can just tell this happens to be the computer number 1. I'm gonna write this happens to be computer number 1. Computer or laptop number 1. Maybe in those days laptop was not there. There is a reason computer number 1 I have written. If you consider a computer, don't you think how exactly the hardware component is important? Like that, software is also very important. Assume this happens to be the hardware component. Like this, software also very important. Okay, sir, what kind of software they are using, sir, in this particular computer? For example purpose, I will take, they were using Windows operating system. Assume that they were using Windows operating system. So here, Windows operating system. I can just tell this happens to be the software that they were using. Now tell me, software, what is the software that they are using? I can just tell here a Windows operating system. Win I have written, so that people will understand in a very better manner. Now, once again, I'll be asking the question. You have to tell the proper answer. Computer number 1, fine, is having what kind of software configuration? In simple words, what is the software that is there in the computer number 1? I want the answer from your side. Please do respond. At least type in the chat box. What is the software? Guys, this is very important. No one I'm telling, this is very, very important. Nobody gonna teach if you join any company, fine. If you're not aware of this, you'll become buffoon in front of everyone. No one I'm telling. Okay. Windows operating system. In the olden days, I'm speaking, fine. As a developer, he would have written the code in computer number 1 in this style. Correct, right? Assume that some other developer wants to use the code, whatever that has been written by developer 1. Assume that he is a developer number 1. Fine. Someone wants to use his code in their computer. That's the reason what I will tell. Assume this happens to be computer number 2. I will tell. Next, this happens to be the computer number what I can tell 3. I will tell. This happens to be computer number 4. I will tell. So here, I can just tell this happens to be computer number 2. Computer number 2. Next, this happens to be the computer number 3. This happens to be the computer number 4. Fine. In this computer also 100% microprocessor will not change. That's the reason I can just tell this happens to be microprocessor. Similarly, here also microprocessor will be there because ultimately you should be getting the output, right? Next, here also microprocessor will be there. Here also microprocessor will be there. But don't you think the operating system might change? Will you agree with my point? The operating system might change from computer to computer. I might be using Windows operating system. Nope. Guys, I might be using Windows operating system. You might be using Macintosh operating system. Some of them might be using Unix operating system. Yes or no? Correct, right? That means this computer number 2 was using which operating system? If you ask me, this computer number 2 was using, I can just tell, Linux operating system. Linux operating system. This is very important. Please do concentrate. Next, this particular computer number 3 was using Windows operating system. Windows operating system. Next, this computer number 4 was using Macintosh operating system. Mac operating system. Now, C++ is the example that I have taken. So here I will be highlighting the C++. What is this? What happened to this? Give me some time. Still, this happens to be C++. Because I should highlight that. That's very important. Please, I'll just erase this one. So give me some time. Okay, great. I assume this happens to be C++. That's very important. That's the reason I'm going to highlight that. Okay. Now observe properly. In yesterday's session, what I have told, in those days, C++ was platform dependent or independent at that point of time. In yesterday's session, clearly I have told. Please do respond. Is that platform dependent or independent? Okay. And please do change your username. I think someone would have given the username as Python. Please change your username, else you will be removed from the session. Okay. Yes, I'm expecting the answer. Platform dependent. That means it is very simple. If someone wants to use the code, don't you think already loader will be there here? Loader software will be there, RAM will be there, everything will be there in computer 2, computer 3, computer 4. I'm not interested in writing all those things. Fine, I can just write loader, it will be loaded on the RAM. I'm just skipping those two things. That means, don't you think I can take the binary code directly? I can take the binary code and I can take the binary code and I can take the binary code. If I'm taking the binary code, you should think an answer. If I'm taking the binary code, fine. If I'm just taking the binary code, I just consider this happens to be the binary code, or technically I can just tell machine level language code, that is MLL, so that you people will understand in a very better manner. I can just tell this happens to be the machine level language code. Guys, I know this machine level language code has to be given for loader. Loader should be loaded on the RAM. Next, from RAM, it will be given to microprocessor, but I'm not interested in writing all those things. Fine, just observe properly. If you provide this machine level language code to this microprocessor using the loader and whatever it may be, do you think you'll be getting the output? 100% you will get the output. That means 100% you will get the output. I can just tell this happens to be the output. I will tell 100% you'll be getting the output. Sir, why sir? Why you'll be getting the output, sir? Why? Because the operating system matches. The operating system matches. That means it is very simple. In which operating system they have created the machine level language code? That means they have created the machine level language code in Windows operating system. Will you agree with my point? That means if they're executing the same operating system, then what will happen? You will be getting the output. Okay, sir. Then what about computer 2 and 4, sir? It is very simple. If you provide this machine level language code using loader and it will be loaded on the RAM, 100% you won't be getting the output. Is that clear? Here also you won't be getting the output. If you provide the data here also you won't be getting the output, but in this case you'll be getting the output. I can just write like this. Here no output, here also no output. In red color I will write so that you people will understand in a very better manner. This happens to be no output. Here also I can just tell no output. Okay, now tell me, if someone is asking whether C++ is a platform dependent at that point of time. 100% yes. Okay, sir. Then what is the definition of platform dependent, sir? Listen properly. Listen. Just have patience, guys. I don't know. Some of them will. They're not having the patience to learn. Just keep on listening to whatever exactly I will tell. 100% I'll tell the answer. Is that fine? If a machine level language code is being compiled in one software, and if you try to execute in another operating system, that means in another software, you will not be getting the output. Why? Because machine level language code is, first of all, it is platform dependent. First of all, machine level language code is platform dependent. Is that clear? That means same platform should be there. Then only you can execute the code. Is that clear for everyone? I know some of them might be getting the doubt. Sir, directly they can take the high level language code, sir. Who will give the high level language code? Why? Because they're the developer, right? 100% they'll not be giving their source code. Who will give the source code? If you give the source code, if you join any other company, assume that you have developed a source code day and night. Maybe tomorrow your friend will ask, or if your colleague will ask, hey, Macha, please give that source code, whatever I have written. If you give that source code, what he will tell? Maybe he will be telling your manager that he has written the source code. Correct, right? Are you getting my point? Now tell me, when it comes to C++, don't you think C++ is also platform dependent? C++ is platform dependent. If you consider, for that matter, C, that is also platform dependent. If you consider C++, that is also platform dependent. Sir, please tell the exact definition of platform dependent, sir. If a program is compiled in one operating system and if it is executed in same operating system, then it is platform dependent programming language. Is that clear for everyone? Please do respond. I want the answer from your side. Is that clear? Once again, I will repeat. Listen carefully. If a program is compiled in one operating system and if it is executed in the same operating system, then it is referred as what? Platform dependency. Here, same operating system. Windows, matching. Windows, Linux, no matching. That's the reason no output. Windows, Macintosh, no matching. That's the reason no output. How many of them understood the definition of platform dependent? Please do respond. How many of them are able to understand the definition of platform dependent? Okay, great. Just do one thing. This happens to be the diagram number 1. Please take the screenshot of this diagram number 1. It's a very important diagram. Okay. Have you taken the screenshot? Okay. If you have taken a screenshot, let me just do one thing. Let me just come back to day 3. In this day 3, I'm going to give the definition for platform dependent. Okay. I hope already I have told orally, but I have to just give it in the form of a notes. Don't worry, I'll be giving that. If you just consider platform dependent, see here, it's very simple. If a program is compiled in one operating system, OS means operating system. I'll just tell operating system so that some of them might be getting confused. In one operating system, and if it is executed only in same operating system, only in similar or same operating system, then it is referred as what? Platform independent programming language. Platform independent programming language. Sir, can you please give me some examples, sir? 100%. Why not? What's the example? C and C++ are the best example for platform dependent programming language. Now tell me, don't you think right now we are in the internet era? That means as days progress, internet era came into boom. And don't you think platform dependent is a very difficult thing? Because they cannot share the code. And if you share the code, some of the hackers might hack your code. All those problems are associated with platform dependent. That means whenever they are sharing the piece of code or program to their peer developers, they should never share machine level language code. Is that clear for everyone? That you should understand. Is that clear for everyone, guys? Please do respond. Whenever you're sending your code to someone else, never ever send machine level language code. Why? Because machine level language code is platform dependent. Is that clear? One note point I will give. That's a very important point. I can just tell machine level language code is platform dependent. Is that clear? It's a very important note point. Next, what I'll do, I'll just consider the heading happens to be platform independent. I'll just consider the heading happens to be platform independent. I hope already some of them are able to understand what I'm going to explain for platform independent. Platform independent. Okay, great. Okay, sir, how are you going to explain, sir? Same diagram, some small alteration I'll be doing. Please do cooperate, just observe properly. Shall I write the definition now itself? Sir, what definition, sir? It is very simple. See here, diagram number 2. If a program is compiled in an operating system, if a program is compiled in one operating system, and if it is executed in other operating system, then what it is called as? If a program is compiled in one operating system, and if it is executed in any operating system, then it is referred as what? Platform dependent or independent? Independent. Very good. See, you are able to understand the definition. All the thing is I have to just show you the diagram. That's it. A diagram is very simple for me. Let me just do one thing. Let me just go back to the whiteboard. Please take the screenshot of diagram number 1. Why? Because once again, I'm not going to display diagram number 1. Here only I'll be doing some small alteration. Okay, great. As a developer, computer one, everything would remain same. Here also it would remain same. Loader software, everything. Nothing I'm going to change. Let me just do one thing. Here, into mark I will just take. Okay. Okay. These are the only changes that I'm doing. That's it. Observe properly. When it comes to here, instead of C++, I'm going to write something else. This is high level language code. Well and good. It's a source code. Instead of C compiler, I'll be taking a Python compiler. Okay, great. Next, instead of machine level language code, I'm going to write something else. Just observe properly. And this loader also I will take. I don't want this loader. Okay. Now observe properly. I'll be considering this happens to be the high level language code that you have written. It's a high level language code. Now tell me, I'll be taking the programming language happens to be Python. I'll be taking a programming language happens to be Python. I could have taken Java, but it's not necessary for you at this point of time. That's the reason I have just taken Python. If you consider Python, assume that you have written the source code or your program in high level language. According to the yesterday's explanation or the diagram, whatever I have explained for you people, please tell me first, high level language code will be given for whom? Don't you think it will be given for Python compiler? Python compiler. How many of them will agree with my point? It will be given for Python compiler. Okay, sir. Then what is the duty of Python compiler, sir? The duty of Python compiler is to produce an intermediate code, which is the combination of both machine level language code plus high level language code. Is that fine? It's a combination of machine level language code and high level language code. Technically, what is that intermediate code called as? We'll see how many of them will remember and tell the answer. What is that intermediate code called as? Very good. Bytecode. Technically, it is only called as bytecode. I'm going to write in different color, maybe in green color. I'm going to write. Why? Because that's an important invention, whatever they have done at that point of time. Next, this particular bytecode will be, I'm least bothered about right now. This particular bytecode will be given to whom? If you ask me, it will be given to PVM. It will be given to PVM. I can just tell this happens to be Python virtual machine. Next, Python virtual machine will load the data into, that means it will convert the bytecode into machine level language and it will load into RAM. From RAM, it will be given to microprocessor. Ultimately, will be seeing the output. Everything works fine. Now tell me, observe properly. If your peer developers means your colleagues or someone like that, fine. If they're asking you to send the code, assume that you will be sending the code. But right now, never ever send machine level language code. Why? Because already I have seen what is the problem associated with machine level language code. That's the reason this time, what kind of code you have sent? BC is what you have sent, bytecode. Yes or no? This time you have sent BC. Sir, what is BC, sir? Bytecode or intermediate code. You can just call it as intermediate code IC or BC. That means bytecode. If you send this bytecode, now I'm going to write something. Observe properly. This particular bytecode is platform dependent or independent? 200% bytecode is platform independent. Is that clear for everyone? Please do respond. Is that clear for everyone? It is platform independent. Similarly, if you consider Python programming language, that is also platform independent. That means you can write in any operating system, you can execute in any operating system. There is no restriction for that. Is that clear? That means, see here, this particular bytecode will, I know guys, bytecode will be given to PVM. Here I can just tell if it is Python, I can just write PVM. That means PVM will be the mediator in between. I can just write this happens to be the PVM. Okay, here also PVM will come into picture. Why? Because it has to load it on the RAM, and from RAM it will be given to microprocessor. I know PVM will come into picture. That means you people should think and answer. Do you think I'll be getting the output here? Yes or no? I'll be getting the output here. It may be any operating system. It may be Linux operating system, or it may be Macintosh operating system. 200% I'll be getting the output. Why? Because bytecode is platform independent. Technically, it is called as ORA. Is that fine? Technically, it is called as ORA. Sir, what, sir? You're writing something and all ORA. See here, WORA. ORA. Python is ORA. That means write once. See here you're writing once. Here you're writing once. I can just tell write once. Write once. Technically, it is called as what? WO. Write once. Run anywhere. See here, write once. Run anywhere. Run anywhere means RA. Put together, it's called as what? ORA. How many of them are able to understand? Run anywhere. Here also you can run anywhere. That's up to your wish. Is that clear for everyone? I hope that I have given the clarity for each and everyone. That means what kind of language is Python? If someone is asking, I hope that you are able to tell the answer for them. Shall I proceed further? Please do respond. Shall I proceed further? This is very important. No one I'm telling. Please mark it as star and all, whatever it may be. That's up to your wish. It's a very important point, whatever I have written here. Okay, great. This is diagram number 2, D2. Please take the screenshot of D2. Please take the screenshot of D2. Okay, great. Let me just do one thing. Let me just come back to the notes. That is day 3. Okay. Now read the definition. Just tell me whether you are in a position to understand the definition or not. If a program is compiled in one operating system and if it is executed in any operating system, then it is referred as what? Platform independent programming language. How many of them got the clarity for this particular, or I can tell, a topic, platform dependent and independent? Guys, if it is no, just tell me no. Nothing to hide in front of me. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Whatever I have told orally, I'll be writing here. See here, in case of Python, initially the high-level language will be converted into bytecode by Python compiler. Later, this bytecode will be converted into machine-level language by Python interpreter. Already people are aware of that. In case of platform-dependent programming languages, it will support ORA. That means write once, run anywhere. Example, Java, Python, like this. You can just keep on giving a number of example. But the prominent programming language is what I have told. Is that clear? Should I proceed for the next topic? Guys, see how many minutes I have taken just to explain platform dependent and independent. Don't you think I have taken 30 minutes for that? In the interview, if they're asking, you need not to tell 30 minutes and all. At least, worst case, are you in a position to speak for about 3 to 5 minutes? That's it. Yes, I'm not expecting you to speak 35 minutes or 30 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes. Why? Because I have seen plenty, guys. In my company, in my previous company, I used to take the interviews for the candidate. Fine, I used to take the technical round. I have seen how exactly they'll tell the answer. If I'm that person, I'll not be asking what is platform dependent, independent for an experienced candidate. If he or she is a fresher, just to start off with the basic stuff, I might have asked this question. I'm just giving an example. Fine. Assume that if I just ask the definition of what is abstraction, maybe I'm just okay, forget about abstraction. Why? Because you're not aware of that. Okay, let me just take this one. Assume that if I'm asking the question like what is platform independent, what they will tell, sir, one operating system, you're right. Another operating system, you're right. Output comes, sir. That is only platform independent, sir. Now you only tell me, if they're telling the answer like this, you want me to select them? Guys, I'm not concentrating on their English. I'm least bothered about the language. If they speak in Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, whatever it may be, if they convey the topic to me 100%, I'll select them. But you tell me, if someone is telling like this, if you are in my position, will you recruit the people? Yes or no? Yes, I'm expecting an answer from your side. Yes or no? Okay, great. That means whenever you're telling something, please tell in detail. Oh, someone is telling yes. If you recruit like that person's 100%, a company has to go for Tirupati as soon as possible. That's the reason I'm telling. Whenever you're telling the answer, please be precise in your answer and tell them at least some bit of in detail about that particular question. Is that clear? Guys, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate about your language or English or communication or a grammatical mistake. Nobody is perfect in this world. But at least you can become a perfect in the content because I'm explaining the content for you, right? Okay. Let me proceed further. How many of them are able to understand this? Shall I proceed further? I want the quick response from your side. Shall I proceed further? Okay. One question I'll be asking, just tell me that is correct or not. Okay. I think I have not discussed this one. Okay, let me just go back here. PVM is platform dependent or independent? We'll see how many of them will tell the proper answer. PVM, Python virtual machine, is platform dependent or independent? Think and answer. Think and answer. I'm not asking about the bytecode. I know bytecode is platform independent, but I'm asking about PVM, Python virtual machine. PVM is platform dependent. Is that fine? Sir, explain, sir. Right now, that is not the time for me to explain about that. When it comes to architecture of PVM, I will speak. But as of now, you can just take down another screenshot right now. I can just tell PVM is platform dependent. Is that clear for everyone? PVM is platform dependent. Okay. Have you taken the screenshot or shall I proceed for the next topic? As if you tell me, I can just proceed for the next topic. Okay, great. Right now, what I'll do, I'll just share you the notes. That is day 3. Okay. In how many ways a Python program can be executed? Please do respond. That means the next topic happens to be execution of a Python program. Tell me in how many ways I can execute a Python program. Are you aware of that? That means, for example, if you want to type a Python program, if you want to execute, where you'll execute? Where? That means when it comes to execution of a Python program, there are 3 ways. How many ways are there? Please do respond. When it comes to execution of a Python program, there are 3 ways. Okay, sir, which are those 3 ways, sir? First one happens to be any online editor. Is that fine? Let's assume that if you are attending any of the interview and if they would have given in offline, I'm speaking, if they would have given any laptop or desktop, don't try to install the softwares and all. Just go to online. There are plenty of online editors that are available in the market. First one, online editor. See here, first one happens to be online editor. Sir, which are the online editors, sir? I told you, right? There are thousands of online editors in order to edit a Python program. Sir, please show us, sir. 100% I'll show you. Just observe here. If I type online Python editor, see here, online Python editor. See here, any of the editor you can use. That is up to your wish. You can just click on the first one or you can just click on the second one. That's up to your wish. See here, you can just execute here. If you just run, you'll be getting the output as hello world. And instead of this, if you're just typing a Sandesh, you'll be getting the output. That's it. Is that clear? Online editors are there. 90% of your interviews that are conducted through online would be what they will tell. They'll not tell you to use the editor, whatever you will be using in your laptop or desktop. It may be any other editors like Sublime, PyCharm, or whatever it may be. They'll be telling you to use the online editor. Why? Because shortcuts will not be available here sometimes. Is that clear for everyone? Here also you can uh, implement the shortcuts by using some plugins. That means by using some add-ons, you can just do that. But don't do that. That's what I'll recommend. Next, observe properly. Second one, you can use Python ideally. Python ideally. Sir, what is ideally, sir? It's very simple. Python ideally. That means, what is ideally, if you ask me? Integrated development learning environment. What is that? Integrated development learning environment. It's a default editor given by Python when you install Python. Is that fine? What is Python ideally? You can use Python ideally. Integrated development learning environment, default editor given by Python. When you install Python, the initial couple of programs I'll be showing in ideally. Later on, I'll be using the what I can tell, the tools that are available. Why? Because it is very easy for me to teach. But nobody gonna use ideally in the industry. That's not what I'm telling. Nobody gonna use ideally in the industry. If they're asking you to open your laptop and type the program in the laptop, please never ever open the IDLE. If you open the IDLE, you'll not be selected for the company. Please use any of the IDEs. Please use any of the IDEs. So what is IDE, sir? Integrated Development Environment. What is IDE? Integrated Development Environment. Softwares, that's it. Integrated Development Environment software. Softwares. Sir, can you please give me some examples, sir? Yeah, 100%. Sublime Text is there, PyCharm is there, Anaconda is there, Spider is there, Atom is there, Edit Plus is there. Like this, I can just keep on giving the example. Is that fine? In the interview, you can use any of this editor. Guys, starting from Sublime Text, I'll be teaching you PyCharm. I'll be teaching you Anaconda, Spider, Atom, Edit Plus. All those things will be included in this course. Is that clear for everyone? Please do respond. Is that clear for everyone? Okay, great. And now I will tell you how to install the Python. The next topic happens to be installation of Python. What is the next topic? Installation of Python. The next topic happens to be installation of Python. Okay, sir, how to install Python, sir? It is very simple. You have to go for their official website. The name of the official website happens to be www.python.org. What is the official website? www.python.org. ORG. Is that fine? I'll just copy this. Let me just go back to the browser, any of the browser. You can just open any of the browser. Just click on that. See here. Next, under download section, please install the latest version of Python. If you're using Windows, by default, it will be in Windows. If you're using Macintosh, click on Macintosh. If you're using any other platform like Linux or whatever it may be, just click on that and install a particular version. I'll click on Python. See here. I'll just install it here. How many MB file, guys? I don't know how many MB file, because I'm not able to see because of the internet speed. Okay, let me just, I think it's a 27 MB file. Is that fine? It's a 27 MB file. Is that clear for everyone? 3.10.0 is the latest version of Python that is available in the market. Okay, how many of them are able to understand how to install Python? After installing Python, what is that you're supposed to do? If you ask me, just go to that folder, click on this. I hope everyone are able to see. Already Python is available in my laptop. That's the reason I'm not going to reinstall that again. But whenever you're installing, please make sure that you will check these two checkboxes. Is that fine? Please click on these two checkboxes. Is that clear for everyone? Please do respond. Is that clear? But right now I'm not going to alter. Why? Because there are some dependencies on whatever the project that I have created. That's the reason. Is that clear? For you people, please click on these two things. Sir, afterwards is a difficult task, sir. Yes, it's a very difficult task. What you have to do? Next. That's it. Please don't do anything. Now I'm telling, don't do anything. Sir, how to get the confirmation whether Python is installed, sir? It is very simple. In order to get the confirmation whether Python is installed in your laptop or not, how to check? Anyone? How to check whether Python is installed or not? I'm asking you how to check whether Python is installed or not. It is very simple. I hope you people are aware of how to go for command prompt. You know how to go for command prompt? Command prompt. How to go for command prompt? Windows plus R, that's it. Windows plus R. Press Windows button plus R so that it will open command prompt. In command prompt, just type CMD. Sir, please do, sir. Okay, 100% I'll do that. Windows plus R. I'll type CMD. Enter. Here, please type Python. If you type Python, if you just click on this, see here, Python is executing. I have installed 3.8.5 because I could have updated, but there is some dependency because I have created some of the projects that are that should be using Python 3.8.5. That's the reason. Is that clear? But you can install the updated version, no issues. So how to check? So see here, if I just print something, if I just print what I can tell, study online, assume that I'll be printing study online. And if I just enter here, I got the output study online. That means Python is installed in my laptop. Now, plenty of the error you might get if you're using Windows 7, if you're using Macintosh, if you're using any of the software, please don't get panic and take the screenshot and send it to Sandesh. Initially struggle. If you're getting some error, Python is not installed in your laptop, Python is not operatable, something like that. So many errors will come. Copy this error, whatever you'll be getting. If you're not able to install, please paste it on Google. Please paste it on Google. Just check as a developer. That is what I will also do. That is what you should also do. Check it in Google. So many people would have told the answer. Try to do that. Scratch your head if you're not able to install Python. At last, so no, sir. If I try to install Python, I'll be throwing my laptop. That means that kind of frustration I have happened, sir. At that point of time, please contact me. I will help you how to install Python. Is that fine? Please do respond. Hope that I can expect from everyone to install Python in your laptop or desktop. Or nowadays, you can install Python in your mobile phone also because so many applications are there. Is that clear for everyone? I want a response from your side. Is that clear for everyone? Okay. I can just tell the versions of Python. Please do respond. Please do respond. I can just tell the next topic happens to versions of Python. I'll just tell like this. Initially, when they released on 1991, see here, what is the birthday of Python? 1991, February 20th. Next, there is they have released the beta version. Next, on Jan 1994, Python 1.0 version. October 2000, 2.0. In between, I know so many versions would have came 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 like that. Next, December 2008, 3.0. Now we are using 3.0 version only. That means, what is the latest version? That means in July 2020, it is 3.8.5. That's what I have installed last year. Right now, what is the version that you have seen? Please do respond. 3. I hope it is 10.0 if I'm not wrong. Yes or no? 3.10.0. I can just tell October 2021. Is that clear for everyone? Please do respond. October 2021. Is that clear? Okay. Observe properly. Observe. Next. If someone is asking what is the advantage of Python, or maybe what I can tell, what are the features of Python, I can just keep on telling the features of Python. But in simple words, if I want to tell, you want me to tell the features of Python? I thought of explaining later, but if you want, I can just tell now itself. That's up to your wish. Okay. Observe properly. First one, if someone is asking the features of Python, there are plenty of features. One by one, I'm going to write. Observe. Guys, I don't want to waste your time. That's the reason I'm just pasting here. See here. If someone is asking, maybe in the interview, nobody is going to ask the features of Python, but you should be aware of features of Python. If someone is asking the features of Python, it is very simple. First one, simple and easy to learn. It's like simple English language, that is human readable language. Readability will be increased. That means you can read the code, right? Syntax is very simple. Already I have seen. It will reduce the development time. That means if you're able to write the efficient code in a very, what I can tell, less amount of time, yeah, you can reduce the development time. In less cost, we can develop the project because the time is less. Next point. Just now I have downloaded Python. Have I paid any amount for that? Please do respond. Have I paid any amount for that? Guys, just now you have seen, right? No, I have not paid any amount, right? That means, please tell me, Python is freeware. That means it's freely downloadable. Will you agree with my point? Python is freeware. and Python is open source software. Sir, what is this open source, sir? I can use my Python code in Java program. Sir, is it possible to use Python code in Java program, sir? Why not? There is a flavor of Python called as JPython. That means where you can customize the version of Python in order to work with Java program. That's also available. It is a feature of Python. I can just tell second point. See here, freeware and open source, freely downloadable. When it comes to open source, according to our requirement, I can just customize the Python. How to customize all those things, maybe in the upcoming days I will teach. Python code can be used in Java program. That means you can customize using a flavor called as JPython. Okay, sir, what is the next point, sir? It's a high-level programming language. Sir, what is high-level, sir? Human readable programming language. That's it. See here, it's a human readable programming language or human understandable programming language. Nice. I can just type all these things in front of you, but it will consume some time. Why? Because nobody gonna ask you this question in the interview. Now tell me, Python is platform dependent or independent? I want you to tell the answer very quickly. Python is platform dependent or independent? Very good. It is independent. So here Python is platform independent programming language. Same definition whatever I have written for platform independent. Next, Python is what kind of language? Don't you think it's a hybrid programming language? Python is a hybrid programming language. Yes or no? Python is a hybrid programming language. That means it is both compiled and interpreted programming language. All those blah blah blah, all those things I have told earlier. No need to explain once again. You can just go through the point, whatever I have given. Next, listen properly. Listen properly. Is that possible to use this Python in any other programming language? 100% yes, you can use. That means it's embedded. Technically, we will be calling it as what? Embedded. Sir, what is embedded, sir? Embedded means we can use Python programming language in any other programming language. That's what I have told you here. You can use Python in Java using different flavors. How many points I have written? Please do respond. How many points I have written? I think 6 points is what I have given. And one more thing. Don't you think Python is both procedural oriented and object oriented programming language? Will you agree with my point? Python is both procedure oriented and object oriented. Yes or no? So here it's both procedure oriented and object oriented programming language. That means it's a structured and it's object oriented programming language. Will you agree with my point? That means we can reuse the code and security is there. Okay, totally 7 points is what I have given. Next, one more point if you want me to give, it's very simple. Okay, portable. Python is portable in nature. Okay, sir, what is portable, sir? Okay, let me just take some example. Assume that I have purchased a SIM card with the number 8553531326. Maybe way back I have purchased this SIM using a telecom network provider called as Aircel. How many of them are aware of Aircel? There was a telecom provider called as Aircel. Mahendra Singh Dhoni used to give the advertisement. Yes or no? Yes, will you remember? Are you guys able to remember? There was a SIM called as Aircel, that is network provider. Okay, I have purchased Aircel. Next, I have ported it into same number. I have ported into what? If you just ask me, I have ported it into Tata Docomo. Next, I have ported it into Jio whenever they have given the free internet. Yeah, I too have ported for Jio. Next, currently I am using this particular no, not currently. Yeah, after Jio, Vodafone. Next, the very good network. Wherever you go, network will be there. Which is the network? I think I'm just telling you sarcasm. Wherever you go, network will be there. What is that? Not BSNL. I mean, if you go to Kashmir also, you'll be getting the network. That is what the advertisement they'll be giving. But in reality, you know how the things will work. Airtel. Fine. Now tell me, my SIM, whatever, that means the number, whatever I have purchased, don't you think it is portable in nature? That means I can port to any of the service provider. Yes or no? Will you agree with my point? Yes, please tell me. Will you agree with my point? One more example I will give. Assume that I have a car. Fine. I have a car. Maybe the number happens to be KA09936. It's a car. Fine. Tomorrow I just want to sell this car. Don't you think car would remain same, but the RC owner will change? Maybe from Sandesh to Suhas, I can just change the RC owner. Next, from Suhas to I can just change it to Akash. That means if Suhas is selling the car, don't you think it can be changed to Akash? But don't you think the car would remain same? That means car is portable and maybe the RC owner might change. Similarly, you can use Python in different portable platform. Is that clear? That means Python programs are portable in nature. In case if we migrate Python program from one platform to another platform, then the features will not change. Is that clear, guys? Please do respond. Is that clear for everyone? Okay. What is the point number? This is the example. That means this particular feature will not change. That number would remain same. This car feature will not change. If it is having 4-wheel, afterwards also 4 wheels itself, it will not change. I can just tell it is portable in nature. That's very important, guys. Now I'm telling portability feature of Python. Python is very important. Next, portable is done. Okay, next, it is both procedure oriented and object oriented hybrid language. Okay, and next, one more thing, one more very important thing. I hope already I have told this in first day class. Python is extensively used in the field of machine learning, data science, and artificial intelligence. Yes or no? Correct, right? Why it is used? Why? Because Python provides a huge list of built-in libraries which can be used in those fields. Is that fine? Python provides a huge list of built-in libraries. What do you mean by libraries? How to use that, and how those libraries will be used here? All those things I will tell in the upcoming session. But right now, are you in a position to understand? Please do respond. Okay, great. Observe properly. Observe. The last point I'm gonna write. This might you might not understand at this point of time, but let me just tell you this. Python is a dynamically typed programming language. Python is a dynamically typed programming language. Sir, what do you mean by this dynamically typed programming language, sir? It is very simple. In case of Java, whenever you want to declare a variable, you should always tell the type of the data, whatever you're going to store within the variable. That means it is very simple. See here, assume that you just want to store some 10. Don't you think 10 is an integer? That's the reason while declaring the variable called as A, I have told integer. Similarly, if you want to store 10, 20 within B, I have to just tell what is the type of the data. It's an integer. Similarly, if you want to store Sandesh, it's a string. Then you have to just tell the type of this variable called as N as string. That is what they have maintained in Java. Technically, Java is called as what? Statically typed programming language. That means as a developer, we have to specify what kind of data we will store while declaring the variable. That's the reason it is statically typed programming language. But when it comes to Python, no issues. Sir, how, sir? Directly tell like this: A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, N is equal to Sandesh. Automatically, it will decide the type of a variable called as A, B, and N based upon the data that you will store. That is the reason technically it is called as what? Python is dynamically typed programming language. Python is dynamically typed programming language. If you just ask me the definition, maybe I'll show when it comes to coding part. Unlike other programming language, we are not supposed to specify the type of a data while declaring a variable. Rather, the type would be decided by PVM. Sir, who will decide the type, sir? PVM. Already people would have heard about PVM. PVM will decide at the time of execution. Hence, Python is termed, or Python is called as dynamically typed programming language. How many of them are able to understand? At this point of time, guys, don't worry. When it comes to example, I'll show you. But at this point of time, are able to understand? Python is dynamically typed programming language. Is that clear? Please do respond. Is that clear for everyone? Please do respond. Is that clear? Okay. Next, when it comes to flavors of Python, already I have told JPython or Jython. Some of them will be calling it as JPython, Jython. That means it is a standard flavor of Python which is used to work with Java program. Similarly, we do have CPython, which is used to work with C programming, and we do have Iron Python, which is used in C# and .NET, and we have something called as Ruby Python. It's a standard flavor of Python which is used in a Ruby programming language, and we have Anaconda Python, which is used for large volume data processing. Instead of wasting the time, let me just copy paste so that you'll understand in a very better manner. Observe properly. Yes, I'm not wasting your time just by typing and all. I know which topic I have to type, and I know which topic I have to copy paste, so that we will not be wasting the time. Guys, these things will not be asked in interview. Explain the flavors. But if you are aware, well and good. Is that clear? How many flavors of Pythons are there? Like this, plenty of flavors are there. But I have just written the important flavors: CPython, JPython or Jython, Iron Python, Ruby Python, Anaconda Python. Is that clear? Guys, please do respond. Is that clear for everyone? Okay. Now, in the interview, if they're asking, please do explain the features of Python. How many features I have discussed in the class? Please do respond. How many features I have discussed in the class? 10 features. Fine. But in the interview, will you be able to tell all 10? If you are able to tell, well and good. But at least, can I expect you to tell minimum, worst case, 7 to 8 features? Maybe 1 or 2 if you miss, if you don't remember at that point of time. Will you be able to tell some 7 to 8 features? If you tell 7 to 8 features, 100% they're going to select you for the company. But simply if you tell features of Python, sir, it is very simple, freely downloadable, that's it. And if you blink your eyes, do you think they'll be selecting you for the company? No. Why? Because there are plenty of important features of Python, right, guys? Like this, I can write some 100 features of Python. Trust me, I can write 100 features. But I have listed out the important feature among those 100 features. Is that clear for everyone? Please do respond. Okay. Now, how many of them are able to gain the confidence that yes, sir, in the interview, if they're asking at least some 6 to 7 features, we will tell. Please do respond. And when it comes to flavors, nobody gonna ask, but let it be there in your notes. Is that fine? Yes, please do respond. Is that fine for everyone? Okay. I hope in today's session, what I have discussed, what is platform dependent, what is platform independent. Afterwards, I have just told you how many ways we can execute a Python program, but I have not shown the online editor execution. I hope in the day one, I have shown how to execute an online. Next, I have not shown in ideally. In tomorrow's session, I'm going to show that. That means from tomorrow onwards, the exact topic of Python will start. Is that fine? And IDEs, I'll be taking, don't worry, I'll be teaching how to execute the IDEs. And installation of Python, hope that from tomorrow in everyone's laptop, Python will be installed. Next versions I have discussed and features I have discussed. Afterwards, I have just told you the flavors of Python. Is that clear for everyone? Please do respond. Is that clear? Okay. If it is clear, I have a video for you people. Guys, why I'm just showing this video. Some of them will be dreaming like this and they'll be in their imagination world. Fine. Sir, if I learn Python, I'll be getting a job. Yeah, 100% true. If you learn Python, you'll be getting a job. But at which extent you'll be learning Python? That is very important. Yes or no? Simply if you learn Python, maybe if you learn only basics of Python, how to print in Python, how to add in Python, some small topic in list set tuple. If you are in imagination that you'll be getting a job, no. Correct, right? That's why, because if they are paying some thousands, maybe as a fresher, if they're paying some 30K, 40K, or as an experienced candidate, if they're paying lakhs together, don't you think they'll expect something from your side? That means you should master the programming language. That is the reason I'm telling. Everything takes some time. In 1 month or 2 months, you cannot learn the complete Python. Trust me, you cannot learn. Maybe in 2 months I can teach, but don't you think whatever I will teach is what will be there in your mind? But once you get experienced, don't you think from the project you'll be keeping on? That means you'll be keep on learning the things. But at least whatever I will teach in the class, if you learn that much, that is more than sufficient to get a job as a fresher or as an experienced candidate. I have designed this content in such a way that both experienced candidate as well as a fresher can crack any sort of Python interview. Is that clear? Yes, I have a video for you people. Just watch this video. Just do one thing. Just remove all the Python topics from your mind. Just remove all the Python topics. Okay. Just close your eyes for 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Okay, just watch this video. At least something you'll realize from this video. Okay. How many of them were able to understand from that particular, what I can tell, video? How many of them were able to understand something? Yes, it's very simple, right? I'm not expecting you to wait for 5 years or something. Fine. At least have some patience for minimum. If you want to understand the complete Python full stack, maybe Python will be completed by the end of December, no issues. But Python full stack, at least it will take some minimum 4 months of time, a solid 4 months of time. Fine, why? Because you want to get your job, right? It's not a small thing. Maybe if someone can learn Python full stack in 15 days or 1 month, it doesn't. It only means that the content is very less. Because I can also teach this Python full stack in 1 month, but you might not be getting a job, correct? Right? And if you get a job by fluke, you'll not be able to work in the company. I don't want that to happen. If you join the company, you should not scold. Okay, the Dabba fellow was there. He has not taught anything in Python. No, you should not scold me like that. Rather, until you'll be there in the IT industry, at least forget about praising me. Fine. At least you should not scold me. Okay, somewhat we have learned from that person. That's what we are implementing in today's project. At that point of time, we have struggled like anything. That's what making us to work in a very efficient way right now. If you feel that that is more than sufficient for me, no need to praise me at that point of time. Is that clear? Please do respond. Is that clear for everyone? Okay, great. Let me just do one thing. Let me just halt the technical discussion.